Hello and welcome to the Data Communication and Networking online lecture series. Myself Rima Rawal, Assistant Professor at Elgin Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. In today's session, we are going to consider a topic, data link layer design issues and framing methods from the unit data link layer. So let's start. Now, the data link layer is the second layer from the ISO OSI reference model. In ISO OSI reference model, the first layer is physical layer, the second layer is data link layer, and the third layer is network layer. So, this data link layer is in between to the physical layer and network layer, and in this layer, the data will be in terms of frames. And physically, it was in terms of bits, right? And in network layer, it is in terms of packets. So now let us see the functions of data link layer. The first function of data link layer is providing a well-defined service interface to the network layer, that the above layer of the data link layer. Right. The next one is dealing with transmission errors. That means if there are any transmission errors, it has to solve that errors and identify the errors, also to correct that errors. Then the next function is regulating the flow of data so that slow receivers are not swamped by the fast senders. That means if in the transmission, if there are some slow receivers, at the same time some are fast receivers, but at the receiver side, the receiving of this data sequence that is to be transmitted should be received correctly in order so that the slow receivers cannot be swamped by the fast senders. Okay, so these are the functions of data link layer, the basic functions of data link layer. Now, let us see the relationship between packets and frames, right? Now, here, as you can see, the sending machine sends the data in terms of packets. Then, to frame this, first one is header. That means in particular frame, the first field is header, the second field is payload field where the data exists, and the third field is the trailer field, right? Similarly, at the host machine side, or else you can say receiving machine side, the framing consists of first field header field, then the payload field or else data field, and the last field is of trailer, right? So these are the frames, and these frames are then transmitted as a packet the receiving machine side, because network layer converts its frames into packets. Okay, so this indicates the relationship between packets and frames. All right, now let us consider the services provided to the network layer. That means which are the services that data link layer provides to its above layer, that is network layer. So first of all, let us consider one diagram. Here in this diagram, virtual path and actual path between the host 1 and host 2 is indicated. As you can see over here, to the second layer, that is at the data link layer, at the host machine side, the virtual data path is indicated. That means this is not an actual path created, but here in figure B, the actual data path is indicated for the transmission of data path, right? Now using this, let us consider the services provided to the network layer. The first service is unacknowledged connectionless service. The second one is acknowledged connectionless service. The third one is acknowledged connection oriented service. Now let us consider each of these in turn. First one is unacknowledged connectionless service. In this, the source machine sends the data to the destination machine irrespective of getting the acknowledgement back. That means whenever any data is there to be sent, this kind of services is used to send the data irrespective of the errors or the data is received correctly or not, right? This kind of service is used for real-time voice transmission where there is a requirement of sending the data, right? Here there is no actual or physical path is established between the transmitter and receiver. That's why it is called as unacknowledged connectionless service, in which there is no acknowledgement of received data at the receiver side, as well as there is no actual path established between the transmitter and receiver. That means there is no logical connection established before or afterwards, and this is suitable where there is error rate is low. Okay. The next one is step up in the terms of reliability. That means here there is no logical connection is still established, but each frame that is sent is acknowledged individually. That means whatever the frames or data is sent, it get back the acknowledgement signal. So this is called as acknowledged connection less service. Then the next one is acknowledged connection oriented service. That means it is highly reliable system in which logical connection is set up and each and every frame or data is to be getting the acknowledgement signal back. In this, the sender knows if the frame has arrived correctly or not, and if not in within some specified time interval, it can send the frame again. So this way acknowledgement can be useful to the sender. So these are the basic three services provided to the network layer. Now let us consider the next topic, that is framing. Now as we know that in data link layer the data are in terms of frames. That means whatever the data it receives in terms of packets, it is to be converted into frames, right? So let us define the framing first. So framing is a point-to-point connection between two computers or devices consisting of wire in which data is transmitted in the form of stream of bits. Okay. There are basically four methods of framing. Let us see each of them in detail. First of all, let us list them. So the framing methods are: first, character count method; second, flag bytes with byte stuffing; the third, starting and ending flags with bit stuffing; and the fourth one, physical layer coding violations. Okay, let us start with the first one, that is character count method. Alright, so for that let us consider this diagram. In these two diagrams, the first one indicates without error case and the second one indicates the with error case. Okay, now here as you can see there are frame 1, 2, 3 and 4. In the character count method, in the particular frames, the first field indicates the count of the particular frame. That means how many frames are there in this particular frame. Okay, that means here in frame 1, first field is 5. That means this entire frame has 5 slots. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 slots are there. In this 5 slot, first one slot indicates the character count. That means count of the particular frame, and the rest are the data bits. Okay. Similarly, in frame 2, the first field is 5. That means it indicates that the entire frame has 5 slots. Similarly, the next frame 3 has 8 characters because the first field indicates number 8, which indicates the character count of 8 of that entire field having 8 slots. Okay. Similarly, frame 4 has also 8 characters. Alright. Now, this next case, that is with error case, error. In this, the case is considered where whether the frame 2's first bit, that is the character, is changed due to some problem, then the entire frame count is changed and the entire frame is lost, right? That means the upcoming frames are received in wrong order, right? Let's say for example here frame 1 is received correctly. Now in frame 2 the bit is changed, right? Let's say for example here it was 5 and it has been changed due to some error and it is changed to 7. So now what the receiver will understand? It will understand that the next frame, that is frame number 2, is of having 7 slots, but actually it was having 5 slots, right? So here the entire upcoming frames will received incorrectly. Alright, so this is the case with error in character count. Okay, so this is the main or biggest issue or problem in the character count method. Okay. Now let us consider the second method, that is flag bytes with byte stuffing. Now here the word flag indicates the particular specific bit pattern or else fixed bit pattern, so that it indicates the starting and ending of the particular frame, right? Let's say for example we are considering a particular frame, right? In this frame the first field is header, second is payload field, that means data, the third one is trailer, right? But in this particular frame, at the starting of the frame and at the ending of the frame, a flag is placed which is a special bit pattern which indicates the starting and ending of this particular frame, right? Let us consider different cases of this method. Now see in the first case, here this indicates the transmission side or else you can say original characters that were sent, and here the case indicates after the byte stuffing. Okay, let's say for example here the frame A and frame B is to be sent, in between a flag is placed. Okay, so after stuffing it will be like A escape flag or B, right? That means here we have considered the case where only A and B frames are not there, but in between a frame is there which is having the bit pattern which is actually a flag bit pattern. That means, let's say for example my flag bit pattern is 0110, and if the frame is having the same data, that means that has to be also stored at the receiver side, right? So what byte stuffing will do, it will use the accidental flag which is called as ESC. So here escape ESC is an accidental flag. It is used when there is a flag data in the particular frame, right? So here what it will do, the byte stuffing will be performed like A, ESC, flag and B. That means here at the receiver side, whenever it receives the frames like this, it will remove this escape flag and it will store the data as A, flag and B as that was sent by the sender, right? Now consider the second case. That means if escape flag is there in the data, that what it will do, it will use another accidental flag escape for byte stuffing. So now after such stuffing, the case will look like this. It will be A, escape, escape and B. That means at the receiver side, after destuffing, it will remove the first escape part and it will store A, ESC and B that was originally transmitted, right? Now in third case, that means when ESC and flag both are there in the data, then what it will do, it will use ESC accidental flag two times, one for first ESC and one for flag. So after stuffing, it will look like this. It will have A, ESC, 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 flag and B, right? So here two ESC are for accidental flag, one for ESC and another one for flag, right? Now the next case where two ESCs are there. That means for each and every ESC, individual accidental flag, another ESC will be used for stuffing. That means now it will be like A, ESC, 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 ESC and B. Here at after destuffing, these two ESCs will be removed and the data will be stored originally that was sent by the sender, right? So these are the various cases for byte stuffing. Here special bit pattern which is called as flag is used, and if that bit pattern or else flag is also in the data, then accidental flag ESC is used to byte stuff the data. Okay, so this is the second method, flag bytes with byte stuffing. Now the next method, third, is starting and ending flags with bit stuffing. So here the third method is bit stuffing. Now what happens over here is, with bit stuffing, the boundary between two frames can be recognized by the flag pattern. Now here a pattern with continuous 5 ones is stuffed by a 0 bit. Let us consider the example for that. As you can see in number A, this is the transmitted bits, right? So here whenever the transmission bits detects consecutive 5 ones, it will stuff with a 0 bits, right? So let's say for example this is the data 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Now at the receiver side, before sending the data, it will stuff as 0, like here after consecutive 5 ones, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here it will stuff 1, 0. Then again after consecutive 5, it will stuff another 0. Then again after consecutive 5, it will stuff 0. Then the afterwards data will be sent as it is, right? So this is called as bit stuffing. So this is the stuffed bits. So at the receiver side, it will store the data after destuffing this bits. That means after removing this 0. So the original data which was sent, it will be stored like this only. Okay. Now the fourth one is physical layer coding violations. Now this method of framing is only applicable to networks in which the encoding on the physical medium contains some redundancy. Okay. For example, some lens encode one bit of data by using two physical bits. So normally a 1 bit is high or high low pair and a 0 bit is low to high pair. Okay. So the scheme means that every data bit has a transition in the middle making it easy for the receiver to locate the bit boundaries. Okay, so whether there is any boundary between two consecutive bits, it is useful for that. The combinations high to high and low to low are not used for data but used for delimiting frames in some particular protocols. Okay, so this method is generally used less. So these were the four methods of framing. First one was character count, second one was byte stuffing, the third one was bit stuffing, and the fourth one is physical layer coding violations. These all framing methods are important at data link layer. Okay, I hope this is clear to you now. These are the references you can refer to. Thank you. Thank you for listening.